Hello all, a warm good evening to one and all. Today's guest speaker and groomer, she is an image consultant, etiquette coach, executive trainer, speaker, grooming expert, and a founder of Image in Style Consultancy and a training. Trained by the senior most image master, Judith Raspan internationally. She has done image management from Constellate Institute of Image Management, USA. She has done image consultancy in a corporate menswear image consultancy studio for image professionals. She did international etiquette, deporting, and dining skill, minding manners from London. She is a certified image consultant from ICBI Mumbai. She is a soft skill trainer certified by NBBET ICBI Mumbai. Postgraduate in travel and tourism from Mumbai. She is a graduate in architectural studies. I request you all kindly keep your speaker mute and video on mode. With an experience of over 20 years in diverse fields and a service industry sector like art, fashion, jewelry, travel, photography, she connects with people from different professions and backgrounds with ease and comfort. With her positive, enthusiastic, and amiable appears, she enjoys working with individuals who are ready to take up new challenges, learn, unlearn, and develop new skills to enhance, upgrade, and improve their existing roles and responsibilities. Her mission is to help in individual entrepreneurs, professionals, social socialites, and homemaker to create a confident, credible, and impressive self-image to achieve success in their lives. She has took so many workshop training and sessions for professionals, employees, beauty pageants, clubs, social organization, foundations, and as a visiting faculty at so many places. It is my honor to invite multifaceted personality, today's groomer, and a guest faculty, Ms. Shraddha Agrawal. We welcome you, ma'am, with a huge round of applause. Huge round of applause. And it's our privilege to have you on this platform. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that very warm welcome and a wonderful introduction. Am I audible enough to everyone? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Everything is clear. Great. Superb to have such a lovely audience today from various parts of India, and also I got to know from abroad. That is amazing to have you on one platform, and it is going to be a fantastic afternoon, I must say, looking at you all. And I'm hoping that you get value out of this session today. So be in the session to the most that you can be over here. And also I would request you, if you want, you can take some notes on the way. If you find something interesting that you can take some notes, and let us have a conversation through the chat. I am going to take you all questions that you have, but we will have last 15 minutes for the question and answer session. So keep on holding your questions. Let us not break the flow of the session. And of course, we will have an interactive audience, I'm hoping. And I want the comments in the box, because I'm going to ask you questions And I would like to have your answers in the chat box also. Everyone ready to go?
Yes.
So as Varsha has attended my
Yes,
webinar
ma'am.
earlier
Yes,
session,
ma'am.
okay, now this is the first thing that we need to type in the chat box. Let's not speak anything. Okay, great. So if we are ready to go, you can type in the chat box RTGS. That means ready to go, Shraddha. Great. Awesome. Wonderful, wonderful, lovely. So I'm going to begin my screen sharing, and there will be a small introduction. I'm not going to talk much about me. Varsha has already given a beautiful introduction, a small video clipping about my work that will just let you know about me more better. So Varsha, can I share my screen if you have given me permission? You need to give me permission to share my screen, please.
Varsha, ma'am. I think she's not there.
No, she is there. I can see her. She needs to just give me permission.
Ma'am, I make you the host for now. You can share your screen.
I can share my screen, but then just keep a check, because I think people are entering, then I won't be able to keep on admitting them because there are people entering the room also.
But I don't have any other option to make a co-host or like this.
Depends on the package actually. Let us begin, should not be a problem. Let's begin at least. Just keep a check on your participants. If you find they are waiting in the room, just let me know, I'll allow them, not a problem.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Great. So everyone can see my screen right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for that. So very, very good evening to everyone. Great. So we are going to begin with the session today. And as I said, there will be question and answers for all of you over here. So right now, if I ask you, what do you see on your screens? What is the picture that you see on the screen? And does it convey anything to you? Please type in your answers. I'm looking at them. Whatever comes to the mind when you see at the picture on the screen. Professionals, different looks, okay? Keep on coming, whatever comes to your mind. Fashion and different poses, all right? Style, poses. Aware about your body language, okay? Fashion, keep your best. Different poses as well as your style, their different attire, okay, visual expressions. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Just checking, there were people in the waiting room. Different reaction of the people when you meet. Fantastic. That means that whatever you see, different signs, it is about different attire, okay, looks very different in every picture. You're talking about me or you're talking about the picture on the screen? By looking at the picture, first thing we can see the gestures. Yes, absolutely. There are different hand gestures people are doing. They have different body language. So absolutely, the audience is great today, and I like to work with such audience who are so receptive and who are so conversing and interactive at the same time. So let us move ahead, and now I'm going to also ask you, what made you decide that there were different expressions, there were different body language, they are from different professions, they are wearing different clothes, because they all are communicating to you about them in different ways. That is, we call the visual cues. None of them have spoken to you, none of them has said anything to you, but still you got to know about them. This is the power of visual cues. Also, at the same time, it is very powerfully said that you cannot not communicate. Do you think you cannot communicate anytime? Whether you are sitting, standing, just blankly looking deep somewhere outside, sitting with a book, sleeping, anytime, any moment of the day, you are communicating something or the other about you through the way your hand gestures, your facial expressions, everything communicates about you. This is all a package. And this all, when come together, they form the visual communication for individual and all of us together. These are the non-verbal cues that we give to the other people wherever we go, whether we are at home, whether we are at work, whether at school, office, friends, colleagues, anywhere, shopping mall, wherever you go, you are communicating constantly. You are telling the other people about yourself. Now, when you saw, without even telling, we are communicating so many things. That means that our dressing, that's what you saw in the picture, the body language, the dressing with grooming, the body language, hand gestures, postures, the way they are standing, all of them, that is important. And at the same time, their grooming and also the clothes, or the things that they are wearing on themselves. So clothing, dressing, grooming, body language, these becomes, and the way they are behaving. If you see all of them, they are all in different postures, their behaviors are different, which suggest their individual, even their individual professions and fields. This is the power of visual communication. But let me tell you one more thing, that not everybody understands this power, because we all come from different backgrounds, cultures, education backgrounds, knowledge, and places. Everyone has a different exposure to life. So individually, we do understand to an extent, but unconsciously, consciously, not everyone understands to the same level. How does that make it different? It will make it different because the way you understand the other's body language through their appearance and their communication that they do, you are also expressing yours. Isn't it that? You are also creating your impression on the other person without speaking a word to them. When you enter a room full of people, you all are into a space where you are competing with each other. At the same time, you also have a good bonding with each other. The moment you enter a room and a space, people look at you, and within those 3 to 5 seconds, they judge you instantly from the body language, your appearance, and your facial expressions also. Thus, we say that your body language, your expressions, your appearance plays a vital role in communicating what you at times do not even want to communicate. It spills the beans. Without saying, your body speaks a lot. So let us get into a little deeper knowledge about this, and let us learn today that what is the best way I can communicate through my body language and appearance and my behavior to the other person at the best, that what I want to be perceived as, and I shall also understand their body language. Everyone okay? Good to go? Super. Now I would like to ask you a question again. In this picture, what do you understand by this lady's photograph? What is she telling you? What is she communicating to you? How does she look to you? How does she look to you? Cool? Casual? Okay, informal? Normal? Okay, wondering? Yes, she's wondering. And now, quite confusing. Oh, wow. We have so many different perspectives of the same picture. And now when we have the second picture, what does she tell you? Casual look, thinking something, okay, normal, fine. Very relaxed. I mean, you don't even want to look at probably the first lady because she is just casual like anybody. There's no difference in what she is being here. And the second one, the more you look at it, second one is looking confident, bold, happy. Second one is looking casual. Better than the first one or not? Happy, good to go. Okay, yes. First one is looking curious. Second one is formal, confident, better, pleasant appearance. Super, bold, happy, fun loving. Lovely, lovely, lovely comments. Yes, you guessed it right. So what does this tell you? This tells you a very, very important thing over here. Your appearance or the way you dress up yourself affects the way you think, isn't it? The days you feel good about, you wear a nice clothes, automatically your body lifts up, you feel more confident, you feel more happy about things, and that's how you behave with the other people the similar way. If you are happy, you are very happy with the people around you, you will pass on lots of compliments and love and appreciations to everyone around you, and that's how you receive the same from them too. The days you are sad, you don't want to put on something nice on your body, and that's how that dress, then this gives a casual look to you. And believe me, most of us now are in that state where all of us want to go casual, and all of us have gone casual. But if we want to feel good, we want to lift up our moods, we need to dress up. We need to feel good about ourselves. Thus we say, it is a cycle. How we see ourselves, when you dress up, the way you dress up, you think the same, you will feel yourself about the same, you act and behave in that matter, and the others respond to you in that manner. The way we dress affects the way we think, we feel, we behave, and the others respond to you. This is a very important aspect because the moment you dress up, the moment you also it works inside out. At times you're not feeling good, but somebody will tell you, come on, get ready, dress up, you will feel good. Isn't that? There's a science behind everything that we are doing. So yes, your clothes do wonders for you if you use them wisely and effectively, they speak a lot about you. So are we going to work upon our clothing? Right? We got to work upon our clothing and the way we dress up all the time. That is the reason I told that I want everybody to be on the video conference today. I want to see people. Why you want to hide yourself from somebody? You are all competing here for beauty pageant. How is it possible that you can hide yourself from anybody? You have to get dressed up and come for it. You have to show yourself that you are here for something. This is what is competency for you. Agreed? Super. Now next, I'm going to touch upon a very important aspect, which is more in detail. Appearance is like a huge subject. But now I'm going to talk to you about an interesting subject, which is body language. So what does body language actually say? What does body language say? It is the way you make your movement through your body and there is a communication happening. That is what we say, the language that our body speaks. And believe me, there are certain body language which are universal. That means they are accepted universally. They are understood in the same manner universally, but also there are certain which are different in different countries. But today what I'm going to talk to you about is body language and 7 ways how you can project confidence with your body language. This is what is more important. Now, whenever you are moving out, don't you feel good the moment you move and your body is very confident. You feel good about yourself and you feel confident about things you do. So what are the 7 aspects that we should keep in considerations, or the 7 ways that is going to improve our body language also, and it will show whether we believe it or we feel it at times from inside or no. But the moment when we adopt these kind of ways, it is going to make us feel confident. Let us get into it now. Super. So the first one is maintain assertive posture. Now, what do you mean by maintain assertive posture? Are there postures of different kinds also, assertive and negative, positive? Absolutely, yes, there are. Assertive posture means over here, you don't have to have a slouching body language, whether you're sitting or whether you are standing. You should be standing straight and tall with your shoulders not so erect, but they should be lifted up and not down. They should be appropriate and you are straight. Just feel your neck should actually, your head should be on your neck and not just moving around. Just feel that somebody has tied a rope to you and they're pulling you up. How would you feel? You will be erect in that case. So that is what we need to have, a straight, erect, good body language, that a posture which is confident, that makes us feel confident that I'm here. Occupy space. It's there for you, so you should occupy space. I am going to talk about the postures and gestures in the next slide. So here I am going to take it a little easy and explain you what are these assertive postures. Postures that make you feel confident about yourself, postures that make you feel erect and show confidence, where you open up your body. The moment you open up your body, you also feel that you can breathe properly because everything is now opened up. That makes you feel confident and relaxed about the place, situation, and yourself. Watch your hands. You might be seeing moving my hands. I am moving my hands right now because it is the need of the hour. If I don't move my hands and if I keep on just talking to you, I'm sure none of you would be really getting interested in what I'm going to talk to you now. So you have to watch your hands, but your hands should be in the right place. We all have a habit at times, scratching, nose tweaking, touching, and putting our hands, just closing up ourselves. Our body language is just closed. We pull ourselves into the comfortable zone that we feel we feel comfort in here. So the hands that we have to see that we keep it with us, not flowing around everywhere. Because also at the same time, when you do so many movements, if I continuously do something like this, you'll get distracted by what am I talking to you. So that should not be the case. So that's the reason you should keep your hands to yourself. At the same time, do not keep them open. Always keep them together. So if you have to talk to people, don't Do like this. You can talk or show something, present something to the people with open hands. You are open to learning, you're open to giving. So keep it closed. And also remember, do not point fingers. We do it, many of us do it consciously, unconsciously, we point fingers at people here and there, or even in our words when we are talking. See, so this all we need to stop. Just keep your hands to yourself and close. Pay attention to your face. It is the first thing that anybody looks at. So the face, you look at yourself in the mirror. Look at the blank face. A natural face for yourself would be how in a mirror. Do not make any kind of expression. Now imagine that this is that face you show to the public when nobody is seeing you. It is also seen by many people. So now we have to take care of this face and the expressions on this face and how we can improve even the first look that the person looks at us. There are many people, when we look around at people, we say, my God, that person was looking so stern, as if जैसे बहुत उसमें गुस्सा हो या तो उसमें ना कुछ भी compassionate नहीं लग रहा था. He's looking very strict. Usually the teachers look very strict, or anybody who teaches you looks very, very strict because they don't have a smile on their face probably, and they have that natural face which is very, very stern looking. So by just getting a small smile on your face and a blink in your eye, nice twinkle, you can subtle that facial expression of yours and get a nice smile so you can attract people and you can be in sync with the other people. People don't get intimidated by you. They should never get intimidated by you. They should always get attracted towards you. Maintain appropriate eye contact. Now this is extremely important. Now I think eye contact will be more important because we will be having masks on our face when we move out. So the smile is gone, but you see only the eyes over here. So now we have to have good eye contact with the other people. And also, do we know that what is a genuine smile and what is a fake smile? Now when we are seeing only half the face of the people, do we really understand whether the person is smiling at me or just looking at me, is angry at me? That means we need to read more about eyes and the talking that the eyes does for us. Anybody can tell me the difference? You can unmute yourself if anybody knows the difference over here between a fake smile and a genuine smile. Because I want all of you to have a genuine smile on stage, on walks, when you're walking. So I really would like to know.
Eyes, smile will reach to eyes when you are having real smile on your face. This is Shruti Sarda, this side.
Yeah, hi Shruti.
Yeah, so real smile will reach to your eyes and you can reflect your smile through eyes.
Okay. Yes, partly definitely correct, Shruti. When you have a genuine smile, now I will show you the fake smile and also I will show you the genuine smile. So this is going to be my fake smile. Got it? And this is my genuine smile. So the moment you see the fake smile, only it's just giving an expression in the bottom of your face. But the moment you smile genuinely, of course, it reaches your eyes and you see the wrinkles near your eyes. That is the genuinity that it shows that you are having a genuine smile. And also at the same time, yes, of course, now we cannot know. Whenever a person smiles genuinely, the lower bottom of the teeth are usually not shown. Take note of this next time. This might be really helpful to understand people. But yes, that is it. And we see the twinkle in the eye that we always see when there is a genuine smile, of course. So have a good eye contact with the people. And now definitely it's not that because now we have masks on our face, so it doesn't matter whether we smile behind it or no. No, we have to smile and we have to have a genuine smile because our eyes are doing most of the talking. Fidgeting. We do not realize how much we fidget with the things lying around us. It could be our bags, it could be our phone, it could be keychain, it could be a pen, it could be a watch, what we are wearing. It could be our sunglasses. It could be anything. We keep on fidgeting with things that are kept around. Even when we are sitting on the table, we have a tendency to, kind of have your fingers moving on the table. Now, these are all the signs of nervousness. Now, you have to make an attempt that you remove all these signs and do a conscious effort and a practice. Consciously look at yourself in the mirror and see where are you doing, what fidgeting are you doing, where do you look when you look at the person and talk, are you having a proper eye contact, because eye contact is one more thing that gives you trust and honesty building. So it's just that eye contact that people can make or break a relationship with you. So you got to keep it, and also at the same time do not fidget with things around. That is all the signs of nervousness. Tapping your toes, your fingers, having some files or things in hand and just keeping on looking at it. All these signs are your nervousness signs. Watch your steps. Now, what do I mean by watch your steps over here? I'm not saying watch your steps per se, but how are you walking? How is your walk? Is your walk also confident, or just the way you stand is confident? I don't want you to just be standing confidently, but walking is going to be very loose and just slouchy. No, you have to walk confidently, tighten up your shoulders, your hand, your back, everything, and with confident strides that you take. Now, when you see a lion, when he walks with confident strides, you see they take big strides. And when somebody is very not comfortable, is very low on confidence, you will see they will try to squeeze their body inside. They will be just with them and they will take small steps. But the moment, if you even want to feel confident, try and take bigger steps. You will automatically feel the difference in your own behavior and in your own nature. Use power poses. Now, what are power poses? Anybody can help me with that. What are power poses? Anybody would like to unmute and say that?
Hi, Shruti again this side.
Yeah, hi.
Power poses means taking more space, standing in confident positions, taking more space, occupying more space so that you can feel confident.
Okay. But why do you think that taking more space will give confidence and power?
That
Hello.
increases your...
Yes. Yes, somebody wants to say?
Yeah, hello, this is Geetu Agarwal from Mumbai.
Yeah, Geetu.
Yeah, I think a positive attitude, like power poses, like with a smile and a correct posture, where your arms are not bending. Yeah, the way you said, ki, yeah, that positivity, that thing comes in on the face and the expressions, I think.
Okay.
That makes a lot of difference when you enter anywhere.
Okay. Anybody else? There is somebody who wants to speak, I think. Anyone else?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Mikita Agarwal from Mumbai.
Yes, Nikita.
Yeah, I think a natural way you express yourself.
Okay.
I think so. That is the way.
Okay, lovely. All of you have given good answers, nothing of that sort. It's like basically what are the power poses? They make you look more confident because you open up yourself. When we say that occupy space, what happens? We are opening ourselves. You see the kings and the queens, they never will sit like this. They have power. That means everything is mine. They open up their bodies, they occupy space. The more space you occupy, the more powerful they look. That's why their clothes and outfits were also so designed so elaborately that they used to look big also at the same time. With that grace and confidence, they used to look also big. So that is the whole idea, just more occupying of the space. You're marking your territory kind, let us say that. You see the animals in the jungle and the king of the jungle has a territory. So you're marking your territory around you. This is my power area and this is me with so much of power away. That is what the power poses do for you. And also, it has been shown that automatically your brain starts working more confidently the way you act. So next time, even if you feel low, act out certain poses and you will feel confident about yourself. I'm going to give you, I think I have 7 to 8 power poses that you would be seeing or would really bring up your confidence to the next level if you adopt them. And I would love that all of you should do that at the same time. Ready for it? Let's see the next slide. Super. Okay, I might do some demonstration also because I do like pictures, but you know, I am a person who is so much into enacting and demonstrating things that I'm going to even act out for you certain poses, because just showing the picture doesn't help. They are 2D and they don't convey anything. So I'm going to do that for you. Now, tell me one thing. How do you feel? Can you all see me better? Am I visible enough?
Yes.
I know it will be a small window, but I think you can switch your window pane so that you can see me bigger and the screen can go smaller also. So now if you see over here, I'm going to stand in a position. What I told you about the posture was assertive posture. So the lower posture will be just standing and drooping like this, you know, not having confidence. The moment you stand up, stand straight with the chest out. This is the way you're standing with your correct posture. Now, power poses are the ones where you occupy space. And if I tell you, the first one in standing power pose is this. With your hands on your waist and your weight of your body on both your feet, as the lady is in the picture. You might not be able to see my feet right now, but yes, of course, as the lady in the picture. Now, this is very important, the way you put your hand on your waist, right? If you have a wider waist, you don't have to, you know, move your hand, just make it a little comfortable over here. Put it on the narrow part of your waist and the fingers in front. Now, why the fingers in front? Look at the difference, I'll tell you. The moment I put my fingers behind and my thumb in front, what happens over here? It is as though, you know, I'm having a backache. I'm resting my back on my fingers. And
Yes.
this is also pose that is telling you that I feel tired now. I can just go slouch.
Yeah.
So the fingers in front, you can never slouch. It is going to give you the powerful pose at the same time. So always take care of this. Or, I mean, doesn't look good, spread it. I don't like it, so just keep them together, as we said, this way. The second is, it does happen as women when we are standing with our, we wear heels and we are standing right now also, I'm wearing heels, and we stand for a longer time, you know, we tend to switch our weight from one side to the other. Now, we don't want this happening where I stand like this with my weight on one of my waist over here. This is not, does it look powerful? Does it look confident, right? Even if you're standing for your poses, they tell you that you have to take a pose which is upright and you have to keep your legs in a little crossed position. So what you can do when you want to shift your weight from one leg to the other, you can just, you can cross your legs, okay? You can cross your legs, but just take care that you do not completely put your weight on one side like this and stand. Just stand with your weight on both your feet. I hope you're aware of the T position that we can take with our 2 feet over here, this way. Like, you know, 1 feet is here and the other is here. So this gives a little nice base. Secondly, when we speak about also with hands in the pocket, okay, we've seen many men, women with hands in the pocket. How does it look? Again, if you do need to put your hands in your pocket, I don't have a pocket right now, but always take care that don't put your entire hand in the pocket. Again, it is a sign of low confidence and low self-esteem because you are hiding. It looks like you're hiding something inside. So just keep your thumb out. That gives a little power to you, and also that shows that you are confident enough to share things with the other person. What happens when you want to sit and you want to listen to somebody? Now, all of us have this issue that what do I do with my hands? I don't know where to take. Even when we are standing, even when we are talking to people, we don't understand where do I keep my hands. We all feel very different when we keep our hands straight down. But believe me, that's the way it is. You got to keep your hands on your sides. If at all you do not want to, the people are coming in the session. If at all you do not want to, there is a way where you show interest by in listening to somebody by just keeping your hand on the chin. Rather than fidgeting with your chin and hair and everywhere, just keep it still here. At least it looks good and it looks that yes, you are being attentive to the other person. So you can definitely use this on sitting on a table or even by standing. A very powerful pose. Again, this is usually when we as trainers or even the speakers, or if you're talking to somebody giving a presentation in college or wherever you are appearing. So this actually helps you to maintain your balance, and at the same time it keeps your hands to yourself, so that you know that I don't fidget with my hands here and there. Just keep your hand to yourself. So these are powerful poses. People like we've seen many of the Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama, all of these people would use these poses because it conveys not only power but also helps them to maintain a balance in their body when they are talking, and there is no distraction of the body. You would have always heard people say that you should never cross your hands. Now I'm going to show you a difference. They always say that you should not cross your hands and sit, because people think that you are not being attentive, or they also feel that, if something is boring for you, you are not liking the conversation, and therefore we avoid, even we tell our children, don't cross your hands and talk to somebody like this. But let me tell you, there is a difference. When you have put your hands like this with your palms behind, definitely this is a sign where it is telling that this is, again, you're not interested in the conversation, you don't like to be there. But the moment you keep your hands in front, does not that make a difference? It shows that you are interested in the conversation, you're paying attention to the person. Just a shift from this position to this position can make a lot of difference. Try it next time when you're doing it. Yes, Shruti, and also at times you have to take into consideration, like if you're really sitting in a AC air-conditioned hall, which is very cold, and people are sitting like this, then it is genuine. They are really tired, and I mean, they are feeling cold. That's the reason they are sitting. But yes, in general, we should avoid it, and you can definitely keep your hands here. Because थक जाते हैं हाथ हमारे नीचे रह के, तो हमें कहीं ना कहीं तो उन्हें support देना पड़ता है. This is again a very powerful pose. Yes, Geetu.
Hello.
Yes, Geetu.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to something you said about closing the hands. Like I practice Reiki, and in that we say when we close the hands, now we are not taking the energy. We are closing the hands to the energy coming. So the way you showed we are opening ourselves to the energy radiating the coming, and we also radiate energy. So it's
absolutely. This is what we say, open up. We all are energy balls, and there is energy around us. I can give you energy reasons also over here. This is also one form of energy not transmitting out of your body. So it is just passing from one to the other. This is what it is. Opening up is opening up energy levels. So closing is closing means you're keeping closed for everything. Exactly, Geetu. You said it right. Perfectly. Thank you for that. Also for the position, for this we are seeing the standing position, when in front of a table or in front of a dais, when we are talking with people, if we have some presentation, or we are a speaker at a place, when there is an equipment kept in front of us, maybe to object, the table or dais, we can definitely take a support of it. But again, how we take support is not a closed way, but open ourselves and open our fingers also in this case, the way this is being showed in the picture over here. That means we are open to things and ideas and opportunities. Everything is open to you right now. The moment you close yourself, you are closed doors to everything. Now we have interesting, these are something that, of course, hand gestures that we spoke about, the posture. Now, how about the sitting gesture, sitting positions for women? That's also very interesting. And at the same time, there are many women who are going wrong because the kind of explanations that people give, that ye nahi karna chahiye, wo nahi karna chahiye, kyun nahi karna chahiye, hame wo bhi pata hona chahiye. Just don't tell ki don't do this, but why you should not be doing this is also extremely important. So this we are going to learn from the Britishers, the sitting postures, and the queens and the princess, which is actually the right way to sit. Now there are two ways. Women tend to sit either this way, like just straight legs, or they would also cross their legs. Now, the kind of clothes you wear also make a difference in the way you sit. If you're wearing something short, you cannot cross your legs. I have seen women on stage wearing short outfits when they are interviewing or doing something with people across, and they cross their legs, and then it's not a pleasant sight. So we should be avoiding these kind of embarrassing situations that can just come up in these places. So better is to keep your legs slanted and be comfortable with your toes down on the floor. Second is, if you are wanting to cross your legs, again see the difference. You have to cross your legs, but slant your legs. Don't keep your legs facing to somebody and crossing your legs. Don't show your knees. We've always heard, don't show your knees to the people. So you have to cross your legs, and you can also slant your legs. So both the position, never keep them directly straight in front of anybody who is sitting in front of you. Got this? You also would see the tightness of the outfits and the loose outfit. Why the person is sitting with this, the slant Duchess style and the slant style, they all call it. They have the names for these postures also. So these are the power poses that we talk about. Any questions up till now? I'm ready for some question, but there is a session left over here. But before that, I will also ask you if any questions up till now, because then it is an interesting topic after this. Absolutely. That shows decency also. See, we have to convey body language and a good posture and confident, not just to show that we are confident, but also to show that we are elegant and powerful. We don't have to look like, people show confidence, but then it is overconfidence, where they become very rash and bash in interaction with the people, the way they move their hands, they sit also. So you have to have some decency and elegance in your sitting posture at the same time. Just maintain that.
Ma'am,
Ankita, okay. First or the second pose of legs, which is right? That's what I said. Both are right. That's why I'm telling you, both the postures are right for sitting. The first one, if you see, is straight sideways because the outfit is small. That's what. If your outfit is short and tight, kindly do not cross your legs. If it's a skirt, if it's a dress, please do not cross your legs. And if your dress is a little longer and looser one, you can still cross your legs, but keep your angle to a slant. Again, it is a confident posture. You try this posture by keeping your feet slanting and slouching, you will never be able to sit. The moment you keep your feet slanting and sideways, you will automatically lift your body. So also you have to see that when you sit on a chair or on a sofa set, where do you sit on it? You have to not really be completely digging yourself inside the sofa. You have to sit midway through, not absolute edge, but also a 3/4 midway through, that you are in comfortable position to sit. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
श्रद्धा मैम,
हाँ जी.
ये जो फर्स्ट पोज था,
Sorry, yeah?
में वाइट लेग्स है, तो
हाँ.
मतलब ये मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ, मतलब ये ऐसा अच्छा लगेगा अगर हम कभी खड़े हैं और वाइट लेग्स हों, मतलब के साथ ये डिसेंसी नहीं मानी जाती.
I'll tell you. अभी होता क्या है, वाइड लेग्स में यूजुअली आप आपके हाथ अगर करोगे भी ना, आप कमर पे रखोगे नहीं, किसी के साथ खड़े रहोगे. तो ये पोस्चर कब आता है? जब आप टीचिंग में हो, तो आप स्टूडेंट्स के सामने आप फिर भी वाइड थोड़ा सा स्प्रेड करते हो. एंड रिमेंबर दैट योर लेग शुड नॉट बी वाइड इनफ टू गो आउटसाइड योर शोल्डर लेग. This and your leg should be in the same space always. Do not go wider than your shoulder. then it is going to be looking very bad. So you can definitely adopt this, but then if you are standing also and you just take up a posture, I can stand in this position and I can hold my hands like this in a steep plane. My legs are wide, they are just below my shoulders, and it does not look bad. The moment I keep it closer, automatically I'm closing myself. So I have to keep it at least 5 to 6 inches apart, and either I keep one of my feet in front, just touching the other one, I keep one of my feet in front. So that will also give me a graceful look. Of course, this is a very stern look and it is adopted by teachers and all over. So this was just for indication, how do you keep your hands on your waist.
Thank you.
Great. So now we are here for a very, very interesting session, which is for the dining. All right. Now for that, I need to make some arrangement. Kindly give me a minute to arrange my table. I'm going to switch off.
Ma'am, Shraddha ma'am, kindly see anybody is there in waiting room.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So just give me a moment. I'm going to stop my video and also can you all see the table layout? Varsha, can you see the table layout clearly?
Yes, ma'am. I can
Okay.
see.
Okay. What am I going to do? I'm going to kind of stop the video because I want everyone to look at me now. So I'll
You
stop
can
this.
put yourself on a spotlight.
Ah, now this is something. Okay, let me put myself on the spotlight. Video. Now who's on spotlight? I don't know.
You can put yourself.
I have never used the spotlight. So
In participant list on your name, if you click on your name,
okay.
they show some options. There you will find one spotlight option.
I did not find the spotlight option.
I think so. Your now screen is a spotlight.
Yeah, my screen is spotlight. You know, that's what I
Yeah.
also feel. I am not on spotlight. Cancel the spotlight video. Okay. I'm going to stop it any which way. There is nothing that is to be seen here. So I'm going to stop the screen. And I think now I can spotlight myself again so you all will see me.
Yeah, yeah. We can see you.
Perfect?
Yes, yes.
Great. So we first begin, you will see half of me because I want you to concentrate here. First of all, you would be seeing how do we have a table layout. you know, we go to any restaurants, there are loads of cutlery and crockery and glasses and everything kept on the table. If we go for a fine dining restaurant, we see all of that. So what do we have to do? We have to first check the layout. We should understand how is the layout. For that, I'm going to show you a very basic layout today. And there are a lot of different layouts which you can probably learn on your own if you're keen on knowing more settings. But today I'm going to give you a basic table setting. So for any table setting, if you see, there would be plates, glasses, spoons, cutlery, everything. First thing that you do on the table, the first thing that you do, you come and sit on your chair. Sitting on the chair again, please make sure your posture is straight and you do not slouch and go and sit like this on the chair. There's a difference because you're attending people, so be straight with your back straight. Now when you go there, the first thing you would be having mobile phone in hand, and as women, a purse or a handbag in the hand, for sure. What do we do for those? Put it on the table. Mobile phone idhar rakha, handbag idhar rakha, and I'm sorted. My space is done. No, your mobile phone goes inside your bag, and your handbag either goes behind you, okay, or either ask somebody to give you a small stool so that you can keep your bag over there. Never put your bag on the floor. Whatever bag would be, do not put it on the floor. I avoid even hanging it on the chair, because what happens when you hang the bag on the chair, if the chair is not of the right material, your handle might get spoiled. It could be metal, it could be a leather, anything. So the handle of your bag will get spoiled. So avoid it. Ask for a chair, extra chair, and put your bag on the chair, or either you can keep it behind. Not to put on your lap also. Unless it's just one small phone that you're carrying and no bags, you can put your phone on your lap. That does not matter. Now, when you go, you see the napkin lying on the table. First thing that you have to do, you have to put the napkin on your lap. And we don't have to open the napkin in front. Okay, just a second. Instead, when we see the napkin, you just have to gently slide the napkin on your lap. Now, what I'm doing on the lap, I'm going to show you on the table. When you slide your napkin on the lap, you just open your napkin and keep it halfway through with the opening towards yourself. This is the position of your napkin on your lap. Now, why is it so? Because when you want to clean your mouth in between or your hands, what you will do, you will lift up the top portion of your napkin, wipe your hands inside, okay, or wipe your mouth from the inside, fold it back, and it is safe on your lap. This way, nobody will see what is the dirty things that we've done on our napkin, wiping our hands, and also at the same time, we will be safe enough to secure our clothes. We won't spoil our clothes. Okay, that's the first thing. Without even touching anything on the table, you will be first waiting for your napkin. If at all you go to the restaurant, there are people, fine dine restaurants, there the waiter will actually come and serve you, even take up the napkin and serve you. So wait for him. Do not start off, okay? He will come. There are many fine dine, they will come and they will give you the napkin, so you take the napkin. Just wait for it, does not matter. Now what you see on the table over here today, there is a table mat, and there is a main plate. There is a bread and butter plate with a knife. There is cutlery, and there is a glass. I can add number of glasses as per the drinks. It does not matter. Now the basics I'm going to tell you, the additions can be innumerable, anything. So it can just increase over. When you see the napkin, remember one thing. When you see the table layout from your side, on your right side and your left side, can you all do this with me? I just want you to do this sign. All of you. Can you do this for me? When you look at your hands from your side, which alphabet do you see on the left side and which alphabet do you see on the right side? B and D. Exactly right? So this is one way to remember that my breads are going to be on the left side of the table, of my table, and my drinks are going to be on the right side. You know, people get confused कि मेरा glass कौन सा है पानी का, ये वाला है, इधर रखा है कि इधर रखा है, पता नहीं है. So please remember, your glass is always on your right side. Remember the breads and the drinks. Great. I will tell you one more method. It's a fantastic way, okay? How many of you all are women, I know, but of course women also love cars. If not driving, if not buying, we love to see the cars. So I'm going to get your BMW on the table now today. Okay, everyone has a BMW. The breads on the left, the meal in front, in the center, and the water on the right. Simple? So please explain this. The children love this concept. If you have children at your home, you want to explain them कि dining table पे कैसे बैठते, कौन सा glass लेते, explain them. They will love it. Always remember that. Okay. Now the next thing, you have cutlery on your table right now. Okay. So I will remove this glass so that you can see it well. I have a spoon, I have knife, I have fork over. I have kept the minimum cutlery that is required for a table. And there is one fork and there is one spoon lying in front of me right now. So how do I know which cutlery I have to use? It's always a confusion. Right now it's very simple. I just have one or two. But I do not know how do I use this cutlery. The simplest way to remember which cutlery to use is going from outside to inside. Okay? Whatever is on the outside will be used first. Whatever is on the inside will be later. So at times this is also a sign where you will see there are lots of spoons and forks and knives kept over here. That means those are the number of courses that you would be served when you're dining. From 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can just increase because there are lots of meals, you know, from salad, soup, salad, starters, everything. It could be anything. So that is one way of remembering. So I have this. Now there could be a soup spoon also on the table if it is not served with the bowl, or there won't be a soup spoon. It could be kept on the side. So I have a spoon. Now how do I use it? How do I use all of this over? Okay, this is my bread plate. That means my breads are going to be here. Now, when I take a piece of bread, how do I eat my bread? There would be butter also kept on the table somewhere, or it could be a small bowl for you to take some butter. So how do I take my breads on my plate? I pick up the full loaf, one piece of bread, whatever is given to me on the table. Now, there is a knife provided, but this knife is not to cut your bread. Okay, this knife is to take your butter from the plate and keep it on the edge of your plate. That's it. This knife is only for taking the butter. Another thing, when you have the bread with you, how you eat your bread is also very important. I'll just give you a few tips on that. You never pick up the whole bread, dip it into the butter and eat it. Never ever. You will take your bread, you will make small piece of your bread which can go into your mouth. Okay, a small piece of bread. You don't have to make 5-10 pieces of bread and keep it in your plate. No, please. Every time you pick up your bread, you break it with your hands into small piece. Apply the butter either with the knife or it's your plate. You can take it from there and eat it completely in your mouth. Not biting and keeping it over there. That's the way you use your bread. The other thing, whenever there is if anybody asks you to pass you salt or pepper, what do you do? This is a married couple on the table, salt and pepper, they are never separated. So always remember, if anybody asks you for salt, please pass me some salt or may I have some salt, you have to pass the salt and pepper both together. Just don't lift up the salt and give it to them. It has to be given together. But these are the rules followed and these are the manners, the way the world works. So let us learn this. Let us not have sometimes, why do I do and what do I not do? It's just the It's way to feel good. What is etiquette after all? If you are at dining table, if you see people having a meal nicely, you will like to dine on that table, right? Rather than it's a very messy table where people do not know how to eat and they make you uncomfortable with everything around them. You will not like to eat in such a situation. So etiquette is all about making others comfortable around you. It's not about you, but making other people comfortable around you. Always remember that. So we have to be seeing that we do not just pass the salt or just pass the pepper, but the whole thing. Now there is a fork and a spoon that is in front of me, which is kept here. These are for your dessert. Okay, they are kept in this position. So they will be there till the last. Never ever pick that. If you find anything less on your table, please never pick that and use that. Just take it for your dessert. Okay, this will be for your dessert. By chance, if you drop your cutlery, do not bend down to pick up your cutlery. Leave it there. Ask the waiter to help you out with a new set of cutlery. One more very important aspect, which women usually will want to leave the table, go to the washroom. Now, where do I leave my napkin? I can't leave it on my lap, or I can't take it with me. Where do I leave my napkin? The napkin will go on the chair. Always. This shows that I am going to come back and I'm going to take my napkin. Napkin goes on the table only after you have finished the meal. The napkin will be kept here. You don't have to fold the napkin very nicely and keep it after you are done with the meal. No. You just have to pick up your napkin and leave it on the table. That's it. Okay? Great. All right. One thing that very interesting happens, that dining table, we have food stuck in our mouth. And we have seen people calling for a toothpick dinner, and they want to prick that, do that. It's really a gross scene to see on the table, whether you put your hand, whether you put anything, but it is not the right thing. Please use the washroom, go to the restroom, clean up your teeth. If it is making you so uncomfortable, clean up the teeth and then come back to the table. One thing that you should not be doing on the table. Secondly, you should not be, women, ladies, you should not be grooming on the table. Making your hair, lipstick, kajal, perfume, everything, nothing on the table. You want to do this? Kindly use the restroom, take your pouch, your dressing grooming pouch, go there, use there and come back on the table. It's always nicer to keep the table clean and tidy with your conversations and nothing to be messed around over here. Now there are two ways of using your fork and your knife. The way you hold it is this. Okay, if you can see me, this is the way you hold your fork and your knife, by the edge. All fingers here and this goes here. The knife is on the right hand and the fork is on the left hand. Now there are two ways of eating, which is we call American and continental. Usually in India, we are very much the European style or the continental style of eating, where the food is on the table. Now what we have to do, we first take the foods, make the food stable with our fork, then we cut it with the knife, and then we eat. Just how much, make a small bite which goes in your mouth, not a very big one, okay? The second way, and then of course the resting space will be, this is my in-between resting, and this is going to be my finished position, the 10-4 position that I call. It could be this way, it could be this way. Always remember the knife, the sharp portion of your knife is always facing inwards. Even when it is kept on the table, it is facing inwards. Even when it is kept on your plate, it is towards you. This is so that nobody gets hurt. When you are making any movement, nobody gets hurt. This is the continental way. Now, how do Americans eat? Have you noticed that? A very complicated method. That's why we don't use that method. So what will they do? They will poke it, they will cut it, they will keep the knife here on the table, they will change their hands, then they will eat with the right hand. So this keeps on continuing further. Poke, cut, here. This keeps on going on with them. This is the way Americans eat. That's it. Nothing different. That it's just this main difference. Rest all remains the same. This is the ending position of your plate. Understood? Did I leave anything? I mean, of course, there's lots in dining, but this is very basic that I have done today. It is too many things in dining. The conversations that you have on the table, how you pass the stuff from where you sit to where you move, and how you drink all the drinks, whether this is your water glass, whether it will be your wine, whether it will be your mocktails, cocktails, all the drinks are going to be your. And also for that, there is a layout, how does it go, but I have not included in this small session right now. But yes, of course, this is what I would like to emphasize upon. And I'm going to take, I don't think so there is more. Thank you, Mikita. Perfect. Accessories, cutlery, napkin, table setting, everything done. So I'm going to remove this from here now. And now,
Shraddha ma'am, one question.
yeah, I'm going to take all the questions. Don't worry. I'm just settling myself now. I'm ready for your question answers. Please ask me.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask you that in India, we do believe that we don't eat with left hand.
Yeah.
So like the American way, which you suggested, is that okay? Or can we change the hands? Like, can we take the fork in the right hand and the knife in the left hand?
You can do absolutely. That's what I said. Okay, can I stop my spotlight? I mean, I want to see everyone now. Okay, yeah, better. So absolutely, you can choose your way of eating if you don't find this.
Because as it is, we don't eat with left hands.
मैं बताऊं आपको, आप राइट हैंड लेफ्ट हैंड से हाथ से नहीं खाते. इंडियंस का हम लोग हाथ से खाते हैं. हम चम्मच से कभी खाते भी हैं इंडियंस. हार्डली वी ईट फूड विद स्पून, राइट?
राइट.
कल्चर हो गया है, तो हमने दाल चावल भी खाना है, सब कुछ हमने हाथ से खाना है. अदरवाइज हमें सिखाया तो जाता है कि आपको हाथों का इस्तेमाल करना है, स्पून से नहीं खाना है. आज भी बच्चों को हम सिखाएंगे.
We go for parties also, and if we have the knife in the left hand and the fork in the right hand, is it okay or does it look bad?
No. See, if you're on the dining table, okay, बुफे में तो आप कर ही नहीं सकते हो वो सब काम. आपको बुफे में या तो स्पून से खाना है या तो आप फोक से खाओगे. आपको चूज करना है जो भी है कंफर्टेबल. बट अगर आप डाइनिंग टेबल पे हैं तो आप ये फॉलो करिए. एंड इफ यू आर नॉट कंफर्टेबल विद ईटिंग लेफ्ट हैंड, प्लीज डू द अमेरिकन वे and eat with the right hand. You can choose your way. It does not matter. As long as, see, the idea of knowing these dining table manners is so that when you are sitting with a group of people, you are not juggling with your cutlery and your fork and spoon. आप गलत भी खा रहे होंगे ना, लेकिन वो पता नहीं चलेगा तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. As long you are involved in the conversation with the people, right. Nobody is feeling messy around. Titanic movie देखा है आप लोगों ने? Most of us would have seen Titanic. और पुराना movie बताती हूँ, Julia Roberts. So they have all these dining table instances when they learn how to actually eat on the dining table because they've been taught that way. They've never learned it. They're coming from that background. But the moment they learn it and they show it, they feel so confident about themselves that they can sit in that crowd and they can talk to the people also. So this is a way of...
I want to share something. Yeah.
Yes, Nikita.
Yeah, my husband is in Merchant Navy. So usually I learned from there only. We all used to sit on the table, officer's grade and the there is compulsory we have to eat with that only. Yeah.
Yes. Also I'll tell you one thing. When we usually go out for any big gatherings and any big social events, या business का meeting होएगा या formal dinner होएगा आपका sit down dinner, वहाँ पे Indian food बहुत कम मंगाया जाता है because Indian food is messy to eat in front of people and we are ourselves not comfortable eating. ठीक है, आप रोटी रोल कर लो, अलग से सब्जी खा लो, लेकिन उसमें मजा तो आता ही नहीं है खाने में. So people usually avoid it. कि let's not call for complicated food on the table. Anything which is complicated to eat, let's avoid it on the table. बेटर टू ईट सिंपल खाना, फिर घर जाके खा लो जो खाना है आपको, अब वहां पे तो आप ठीक से खा लो बस.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. It's a real informative session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Asma. Any questions regarding the earlier body language, appearance, dining, anything? Varsha, I don't know how much time you have, so please, you can take that in your hands.
Hello, ma'am.
Whenever.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
हाँ, भाविनी चौहान हियर फ्रॉम सूरत.
Yes.
हाँ मैम, मुझे सिर्फ आपने जो वो पोस्चर बताया, राइट, तो मुझे कई बार कई लोगों के सामने अच्छे से प्रेजेंटेशन देना है, सब कुछ आता है, तो अभी थोड़ा डर लगता है. क्यों? इतनी
डर
सारी
लगेगा.
तैयारी करती हूँ तो भी एक 1%. आप कितना अच्छा बिंदास बोलते हो, अच्छा लगता है, तो
डर लगेगा
बहुत
भाविनी, बिकॉज ये प्रैक्टिस का सवाल है और कोई बात नहीं है. हम लोग,
ओके.
मैं भी बहुत डरती थी, मैं तो 5 लोग के सामने भी बात नहीं कर सकती थी कभी भी. बट ये आप जितना करोगे उतना आप कॉन्फिडेंट होंगे, जितनी
Okay.
प्रैक्टिस करोगे आप उतने ही आप कॉन्फिडेंट होंगे. और ये मत सोचो कि क्योंकि मैं गलत हो जाऊंगी तो मैं अभी करना बंद कर देती हूँ करके. Don't think that, because that is what you're losing your step. Do the mistake, learn from that mistake, improve it in the next one. It's very good to do the mistakes for sure. Just a second. Danika?
Low battery.
So you have to do it and you make mistakes.
Alert from
That
low
is what
battery.
is your opportunity to learn.
Okay,
So never
ma'am.
be scared about it. What you can do, you can practice at home in front of the mirror and
Okay.
look at yourself in the mirror, because खुद से बात करने में भी डर लगता है mirror में. So do that. The day you start talking to yourself, it will be easier for you.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Right.
Ma'am, any suggestion for the poses on a stage?
Poses stage के होते हैं, but very difficult for me to show right now, because that's what I told them कि वो stance जो हम आगे चल के हम wait करके जो लेते हैं, 1 second का stance हम लेते हैं, we cannot be really standing absolutely with our legs wide apart. That's the way the T position comes, like one leg is here and the other, and then you stand tall and you take an angle. So that's a complete different body language class that is only for stage. The way you walk, the way you enter, the way you stand, the way you turn, फिर आपको पूरा एक session हो जाता है उसका. But yes, definitely keep yourself tall and long and smart and with your feet grounded. Put all the weight on your 2 feet, not on your 1 feet. Otherwise you'll trip over for sure.
Any more questions for ma'am? कुछ queries हैं आप लोगों की? इतना elaborate session था मैम कि मुझे नहीं लगता कि अब इन लोगों की कोई queries बची हैं.
Most welcome. I'm glad. So
बहुत अच्छा लगा आपका ये सेशन देख के. मतलब मैं हर बार अटेंड करती हूँ, कुछ ना कुछ नया सीखती हूँ और मोटिवेट होते रहते हैं हम लोग. थैंक यू सो मच. तो अभी किसी की क्वेरीज मेरे ख्याल से नहीं है.
I don't think so.
Yes. So can we end the session here? Okay, fine. Thank you so much, Shraddha ma'am. बहुत ही अच्छा लगा आपके साथ, और फिर से अगेन हमको कुछ नई बातें जानने मिली, नई चीजें सीखने मिली, और इसी तरह आप हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स को और हमको हमेशा हेल्प करते रहेंगे, ऐसी मैं आशा रखती हूँ. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग हियर on this stage. हमें
Yes.
कोरोना के टाइम में ये ऐसे समय पे हम आपसे रूबरू हो पा रहे हैं और ये ऑनलाइन सेशन के द्वारा हम मिल पा रहे हैं, तो बहुत ही अच्छा, अमेजिंग लग रहा है कि एटलीस्ट हम यहाँ मिल रहे हैं और बातें कर रहे हैं और आपसे काफी सारा नॉलेज हम बटोर रहे हैं.
Oops. Just a second.
हाँ.
I think people, I don't know, I'll just start it again. Yeah, I guess you can see this now. Yeah, people had asked the Insta account. So here are my Insta accounts. Surely do follow me, and you can gain a lot of knowledge from my all my accounts. So keep on following me, and you will get to see new more things over there. Wish you all the very best to all the participants over here. I'm sure you all will rock it, and great to see you on this platform. All the
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Very nice section. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.
Priya.
bye.
I see you all to
See
participate.
you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for this nice session, ma'am.
I'll take a leave, Varsha.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you so much, ma'am.
Bye.